So make yourselves really comfortable whilst you lie down. You can have straight legs or bent legs. You can lie on your side or your front. I'm going to invite you to make yourself really comfortable. So if you need a cushion under your head or under your legs, just shuffle yourself, add extra blankets to make yourself warm, cozy and comfortable. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, and if you prefer to keep your eyes open, see if you can look softly at the ceiling instead. Checking that you're not clenching your jaw. Taking a slight gap between your teeth, with your tongue lying heavy on the base of your mouth. Taking your awareness into your body, seeing if you can settle your body into the earth beneath you. And then taking your awareness to your breath and watching the journey of your breath as it enters and leaves your nose. If nasal breathing is no good for you this evening, breathing through your mouth. Watching the process of your breath. Can you find spaciousness with your breath? Spaciousness for your lungs to get bigger, rib cage to expand with your inhale. Releasing, relaxing everything with your exhale. Lungs deflating a little, your rib cage knitting back to the center of your body. Keeping this easy, steady breathing, I'm going to invite you now to move your head very slowly to the right and back through center, and very slowly over to the left and back through center. So just taking a few movements side to side. Can you let your head be really heavy? Really let the weight of your head sink down into the earth beneath you. Don't look for the biggest stretch you can do for your neck, and instead we're looking for ease and comfort. Back to this idea of spaciousness. And as you come back through center, if you've got your head on a cushion or a blanket, I'm going to recommend that you take that cushion or blanket out from under your head at this point. If it feels too much, feel free to add it back in again. But if you're happy without it there, then you're just going to get more of this sense of your neck arching and flattening. So tucking your chin in towards your chest, and then lifting the chin towards the ceiling. And again, you're not looking for the biggest stretch here. You're just looking to notice how the back of your neck feels. So hopefully your neck lengthens as you tuck the chin in towards the chest. You feel the muscles relaxing. And then as you lift your chin up towards the ceiling, you notice your neck arching a little more. Your neck has to work a little more to make this movement happen. And then we're going to bring your head back through center. And if center doesn't feel great for you, you can tuck your chin again and find more length. So just play around and see where feels good for your head, seeing if it's possible to really let the weight of your head sink down into the floor. Your neck is amazing. It's really, really clever, but it doesn't need to work so strongly right now. So from here, I'm going to get you to reach your hands up towards the ceiling. And I want you to float your hands over your elbows, over your shoulders. So your hands are kind of shoulder width apart. Great. And then you're going to reach your fingers up towards the ceiling. And then you're going to soften your shoulders and your shoulder blades back down into the floor. And that's all you're going to do a few times. And again, you're not going to get any massive sensation here. You're keeping your hands reaching up to the ceiling for the whole movement. Hands stay stacked over the shoulders. And all you're doing is reaching your fingers up to the ceiling. And then, Anna, you keep your hands exactly stacked over the shoulders there, reaching the fingers up to your ceiling. Yep. And all you're doing is a tiny, tiny little movement. Fingers reach higher to the ceiling, like a centimeter or so. And then you let your shoulders sink back down into the floor. Yes, just like that. That's all you need to do. Brilliant. Now we're going to lower the arms back down by your sides. And I'm going to ask you to bend your knees, standing your feet flat on the floor. And you want your feet roughly hip width and not too close to your bum, not too far away. Somewhere where you can place the feet like they're in imaginary damp sand. And we're going to come into some pelvic tilts. So rolling forwards towards your tailbone and then softening the weight towards your lower back. So Patricia, you want bent knees and your feet stood flat on the floor. Feet totally flat on the floor. Great. And then you want your feet hip width apart, so they're a few inches apart with your feet and your knees. And you're softening your lower back closer towards the floor. And then you're going to roll the weight forwards across your buttocks towards your tailbone, and you arch your lower back away from the floor. So again, most of you are really familiar with this movement. And just go off on your own, making this as slowly or as quickly as you like. And if you're new to it, we're just noticing that anterior and posterior tilt of the pelvis, a bit like cat and cow, but on your back, so it's not quite as big. Okay, we come back through neutral with the pelvis. You can just do the arm movement, you can just do the pelvic movement. If your coordination allows, we're going to put the arm and the pelvic movement together. So floating your hands back over your shoulders once more, hands stuck over your elbows, stuck over your shoulders. Brilliant. Now we've got that protracting movement with the shoulders where we reach the hands up towards the ceiling. I'm going to call that protraction. And then as you soften your shoulders back down into the floor, I'm going to call that neutral for the shoulders. Okay, great. We're going to protract with the shoulders, reaching your hands up towards the ceiling. I'm going to flatten your lower back towards the floor. And as you soften the shoulders back down towards the floor, we're going to arch your back, rolling towards your tailbone. As you protract the shoulders, you flatten your lower back towards the floor. And as you come back to your neutral shoulders, you're going to arch your back, tilting more to your tailbone. So go off on your own. And if you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on here, that's okay. You can go off and do whatever feels good for you. If you're trying to stay with the idea, you're protracting the shoulders as you flatten your lower back towards the floor. You're softening the shoulders back through neutral as you arch the lower back and rock more towards your tailbone. Noticing your breath. And maybe noticing how your head and your neck join in with this movement too. Great. Okay, we're gonna come back to neutral with the pelvis. We're gonna lower the arms down by our sides. It's a little movement I miss demonstrating, but hopefully it should be really obvious. I want you all to roll onto your left-hand side. And I want you to bend your knees up in line with your hips and pelvis. And you're lying totally on the left-hand side, and you can just let your arms rest in front of you. So Helen, you want the right arm in front of you, yeah, so that you're kind of on your totally on your side. Other Helen, sorry, there's two Helens. And you want your head to be really heavy on the floor. So if you've got your head on a cushion or a blanket, as long as it feels okay for the neck, get rid of the cushion or the blanket. And from here, I want you to use your neck muscles to lift your head up towards your right ear, your right shoulder. So your right ear moving towards your right shoulder, and then releasing your head back down towards the floor. So you're using the neck muscles to lift your head all the way up off the floor. Your head isn't actually going to touch your shoulder, but your right ear is moving towards your shoulder, and then we're going to release the head back down onto the floor. And we'll do that one last time. Let your head be really heavy, and then use your neck muscles to lift your head up away from the floor, reaching the right ear towards your right shoulder, and then resting the head back down on the floor once more. So what I wanted to show you there was how heavy your head is and how you can let your head be heavy in contact with the floor. From here, we're going to interlace the hands behind your head, taking your elbows out to the sides. And I want you to let your head be really heavy on your hands and encourage that left upper arm to be really heavy on the floor. We're going to start to open out with your right elbow up towards the ceiling and out behind you. And then we're going to close your right elbow back down towards the left. We'll just do this movement a few times. Keeping your knees stacked to begin so that you get that nice opening through your thoracic, mid, upper back and chest. Opening and closing. Let your head be really heavy, let the arm be really heavy. And then maybe starting to lift the right knee away from the left knee so that you get a bigger twist. And maybe the right elbow comes all the way down towards the floor, maybe it doesn't. One last time. And the next time you roll, you can roll all the way onto your right hand side. So you let the right knee lift first, then the left knee follows and joins. We roll all the way onto your left hand side. We're going to do the head lift first. So for anyone that was really massively confused, feel free to have a look at me. I'm going to show you that most of you got the hang of it. So all I'm doing is using my neck muscles to lift the head away from the floor. I'm reaching my ear towards my top shoulder and then lowering the head back down towards the floor, really slowly. So we'll do that another 3 or 4 times. Lifting your left ear up towards your left shoulder. It's not going to touch, don't have that as your end goal, but just lifting as far as it goes and then releasing your head back down towards the floor, really slowly, loads of control. Twice more. The next time your head comes down towards the floor, interlacing your hands behind your head. Let your right upper arm and elbow be really heavy on the floor. Knees are in line with your hips. We start to open the left elbow up to the ceiling and out behind. And then we close the left elbow back towards the right. Going at your own speed, opening that right elbow up to the ceiling and out behind. And then taking the right elbow back to the ceiling and down. Let your head be heavy. So Helen, really let your head rest into that right hand as you open the left elbow up. Yeah, nice. And then maybe this next time you start to lift the left knee away from the right knee so that you can reach that left elbow a little closer towards the floor. Maybe it reaches, maybe it doesn't. And then we're going to roll all the way over onto the left hand side once more. Great. We're going to roll from your side all the way up into sitting. And if you want to sit on a cushion or a yoga block, feel free to do that. We're just going to circle our wrists for a few moments. So you can sit however you like, cross legs or legs outstretched. And then circling your wrists in the other direction. And then interlacing your fingers, taking your forearms together, rotating through the wrists, swapping the direction. Taking your palms apart and stretching the tops of the wrists. And then taking your fingers onto your shoulders and drawing some circles with your elbows. Taking your elbows as close together as they go and then as wide apart as they go. And swapping the direction. We're going to lower the arms down. Rolling over onto all fours. If you need a blanket or a cushion under your knees, feel free to give yourself some padding. Taking your hands into your knees. Take your hands into your shoulders. And then your knees into your hips. And just coming through some cat and cow, lifting your tailbone, releasing your belly, lifting your chest and then your head. And then tucking your tailbone and lifting your lower back, middle back, upper back, rounding your spine into your cat. Lifting with your tailbone, lower back, middle back, finally the head joins in. And then tucking your tailbone, lifting your lower back, middle back, upper back, rounding into your cat. Once more with your own breath. Great. From here, we're going to tuck the toes, sending your bottom back towards your heels. We lift the knees, maybe walking on the spot in your downward dog for a few moments. And then walking your feet towards your hands, lifting with your head and your chest, tucking your head into your legs, pushing your feet into the floor to roll all the way up into standing, and lowering your arms down. So we need your book at this point, or your block. You want to squeeze your book or your block with your hands on the short edges. So David, it wants to be this way, or yes. Great. And if there's a pair of you, give the one that is taller, broader, the bigger thing to hold, because they're going to struggle more. Okay, so taking your feet hip width, you're going to squeeze the block in front of you. And I want you to imagine, as you squeeze the block, that you've got a line running down from the shoulder along the outer edge of your arm towards your little finger, and you've got another line drawing in from your thumb up to the inner edge of your arm back up into your shoulder. If this makes no sense, don't worry about it, it's fine. You're just squeezing the block. If you're like, I don't feel any of that. So you can just imagine it, visualize it, that there's, as you squeeze, you've got this line running down from your shoulder to your little finger, and from your thumb back up through your lower arm, elbow, up into your shoulder. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Reaching the hands forwards, keep squeezing. Keep squeezing. There's a point at which your elbows might want to bend, so stop at that point, don't go any further. I can go to about there, I'm not going to be able to go any further, maybe you can go higher. And we lower back down. And this should feel like lots of work, lots of effort. Keep squeezing, we're going to do that twice more. Reaching your block, your book out in front. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as you reach the block up. You're trying to keep straight elbows. The point your elbows start to bend, stop at that point. We lower back down. If you've had enough, you can rest. And if you're happy to have one more go, we're reaching forwards and up. And then slowly, slowly back down. Great. We're going to put the block down for a moment to give us a little break, because that should feel like it was really hard work. And I want you to bend your elbows. Keep your pelvis really steady in space. As we're going to twist side to side. You can do this quite slowly or quite quickly. See how your back feels tonight. And maybe you start to go even quicker, trying to keep your pelvis facing forwards. So we're getting this nice sense of your rib cage, upper back being the thing that has to work. And we slowly come back to center. And then bending your knees and sliding your hands onto your thighs. And we're going to take a couple of little cat-cow movements here. So sticking your tailbone out, lifting your chest, lifting the head a little, and then tucking your tailbone, rounding your spine, tucking your chin in towards your chest. So a bit like that cat-cow we just did on all fours, but a bit of a weird standing version. And maybe you stay with this cat-cow here. Again, if coordination isn't feeling great for you today, Or maybe you turn it into circles. Don't overthink it. Is my advice. And then swapping the direction of your circles. Great. And we come back through center. If you were moving around in space, that's cool, that counts. And we're going to do another block squeezing and behind us. This is the last block squeezing, so if you don't have an ideal block thing, don't worry about it. This is just to give you the proprioceptive feedback of a movement we're going to replicate. So you've got your hands behind you, you're still squeezing that short edge of your block. Now your block isn't going to go very far behind you here because it's really hard. So you're squeezing, 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 squeezing. And you should feel hopefully this pec area, the front of the shoulders, collarbones broaden, expand. And you should feel like it's hard, like this is really difficult to keep squeezing. Holding here. Keep squeezing, keep squeezing. And then release your block down. Your book down, we can ignore that until a little later in the class. Final little bit of warm up. We're going to come through some scapular cars. Again, we've done this a lot before. So we're going to come into this protracted movement where the shoulders come forwards. We elevate, lift your shoulders up. We retract your shoulders, still lifted. We depress the shoulders as we keep them retracted behind. And then we protract them down, protract them up, retract them up, retract them down. Swap the circles, taking them through the full range of movement. Try not to miss any section out. Great, so for anyone that wasn't here in the back bending class a couple of weeks ago, the final little bit that will put all the next flow sequence in to make a bit more sense is that I really want your back bending today to come from this thoracic area, so your kind of shoulder blade, upper, middle, back. So as we lift and look up, I'm really interested in you keeping your lower back long and relaxed, and that the movement from your neck comes here from your back and your shoulders that supports you to lift the head, look up a little, and then come back through neutral. I know you can do a massive back bend. We will do another back bending class another day, and you'll get the chance to do big back bends. But for today, it's neck and shoulders. That's what we're interested in. So we're finding the support for our neck from our back and shoulders because everything is connected. Okay, so as we come through our couple of sun salutes, we're going to add that little back bend in. So taking your feet hip width apart near the front of your mat. Finding the tripod of your feet, growing tall through your spine. And as you reach the hands up over your head, and maybe you look up, can you find that lift from your upper back as you look up? So your head and neck stay really comfortable. There's a lot of weight in the head. You're finding that support from your shoulders, your back, and your neck. And then as we fold forwards, let your head totally relax, that weight of the head sinking down towards the floor. Lifting onto your fingertips, again, finding that length through the crown of your head. And then stepping your feet back into your downward dog. Lowering your knees down onto the floor, bending your elbows, pushing your hands into the floor to lift yourself up into a high kneel. Coming down onto your belly. We're going to come into a low seal pose, the arms out on the diagonals, wider than the mat. Sending your tailbone and your toes behind. And really finding that lift for your neck and your head through the shoulder, mid-back area. So as we roll it, we're distributing the load equally through the spine. This should feel really easy, really comfortable. And the head should feel like it gets lots of support through your back and neck. Lifting more with the breastbone. Shoulders stay rolling down away from your ears. They don't need to lift to create this movement. The next time you roll down, hands under your shoulders and pushing up to all fours. And then tucking your toes and lifting your knees, your hips go high into your downward dog. We're going to lift your right leg high and swing your right foot forwards towards your hands, lowering the left knee down onto the floor. We're in a low lunge. Great. We're going to take some shoulder circles here. So resting your right forearm on the right thigh. We're going to reach your left arm forwards and up, and then take it back and down. And if it feels good for your head and neck, you're going to follow the fingers as you draw the circles. One more time. And then we swap the direction, taking left arm down, back, up and forwards. If your balance isn't so great, just looking forwards or down at the floor. Framing that right foot with the hands, tucking left toes, lifting your left knee, sending the right leg back into your downward dog. We do the same thing on the other side. So lifting your left leg high, swing your left foot forwards to the hands, lower the right knee down onto the floor, resting the left forearm on the thigh, and we draw circles with that right arm, taking it forwards and up, and then back and down, and watching your fingers if your balance allows. Finding that spacious feeling. And then we swap the direction of the circles. Great. The next time your arm comes down, we're going to frame that foot with the hands. We're going to tuck your right toes, you lift the right knee, send the left foot back into your downward dog. We're going to walk or jump your feet forwards towards your hands, lifting your head and your chest, and then tucking your head into your legs. Rolling up into standing with a little back bend at the top. Maybe keeping your hands apart so that you find that length from your shoulders, supporting the head and the neck with your back, and then we lower the arms down. We're going to speed this up, we'll do 2 more. Okay, so lifting up with the arms, maybe coming into that little back bend, folding forwards. Lifting with your head and your chest, and then stepping your feet back into your downward dog. Lower your knees to the floor, bend your elbows, push up to your high heel, coming down onto your belly. Maybe coming through a low cobra this time, so hands in line with the chest, but still finding that lift and length through the whole spine, toes pointing behind, pubic bone presses to the floor. Head and neck stay supported through your spine and the shoulder area. The next time you lower down, pushing up to all fours, tuck the toes, lift your knees, hips go high to downward dog. Lifting the right leg high, we're going to swing the right foot forwards to your hands. We're going to lower the left knee down onto the floor. And we will reach the arms all the way out in front. Maybe you need to shuffle your right foot a little further forwards so that you can really stack the right knee over the ankle. Maybe you need to take your feet a little wider so that you feel stable. Can you imagine you're squeezing that block that we had before? So squeeze, 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 straighten the elbows if you can. I'm happy for your shoulders to be lifted here, you're just squeezing your imaginary block. And then lower the arms forwards and down and reach them behind. Squeeze the imaginary block behind. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Find that length, breadth, spaciousness through the front of the chest. Keep squeezing your imaginary block behind as you lean forwards from your pelvis. So finding this length up through the spine, the neck and the head as you squeeze your block behind you. Block is imaginary. And then we're going to fold forwards over that right foot, place the hands flat on the floor, tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, and we've got both feet back in downward dog. Lifting your left leg high, swing the left foot forwards to the hands, lowering right knee down onto the floor. Low lunge, shuffle your feet, find a comfortable position for you. Holding your imaginary block, we reach the hands up over the head. Reach, 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 squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. It's okay for the shoulders to be lifted, you're squeezing your block. Squeeze, 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 keep breathing. Keep reaching, keep working to straighten the elbows. Okay, the block goes down in front and behind, and you squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the block behind. Looking for spaciousness here through the front of the chest. Keep squeezing. Keep squeezing. Great. Keep squeezing as you lean forwards from your pelvis. So you're looking for that axial extension, straight line from your pelvis to the crown of your head. Still squeezing with your hands behind. Keep breathing. And then framing the left foot with the hands. Tuck the right toes, lift the right knee. Send the left foot back into your downward dog. Walking or jumping your feet forwards, lifting with your head and your chest. Tuck the head into legs. Rolling up into standing, maybe that little back bend at the top. We lower your arms down. Last one. Reaching the arms. Find that spaciousness in your chest as you come into the back bend. Folding forwards, tipping your head into your legs. Lifting with the head and the chest. Stepping into your downward dog. Lower your knees to the floor. Bend the elbows, push up to your high heel. Coming down onto your belly. Maybe coming into seal, sphinx, cobra, or even an upward dog. But find that spaciousness through the front of the chest. Distribute the load evenly. Find length through the neck. Maybe you roll up and down, maybe you hold this time. I don't mind, whatever feels good for your body. And the next time you come down, we're going to tuck the toes. Push through the hands to lift up to all fours. Send your hips high to downward dog. Lifting your right leg high, we're going to swing the right foot forwards towards your hands. If you enjoyed that low lunge, taking left knee down onto the floor. Otherwise, we're going to come into a high lunge this time with the arms up over your head. Squeezing your imaginary block over your head. If you need a little bend in that left knee, go for it so that you take any pinching out of the lower back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. It's okay to lift the shoulders. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Keep hold of your imaginary block as you reach it forwards, down, and take it behind. Finding spaciousness once more, front of the chest, collarbone area. Squeeze the block behind. Keep squeezing, keep breathing. Keep squeezing and breathing as you lean forwards from your pelvis, reaching your head long, finding that support through your spine, your neck and your head. And then framing the right foot with your hands. Send your right foot back into your downward dog. Lifting your left leg high. We swing the left foot forwards to your hands. Coming into the low lunge if you prefer that, or a high lunge with your right leg lifted. Nice. Holding your imaginary block. We reach the block over your head. We bend the right knee if you need to take any pressure out of the lower back. Can you really straighten your elbows? Can you really reach through your fingers? Can you really squeeze that imaginary block? Keep squeezing, keep breathing. Lower the arms forwards and down and take them behind. Keep squeezing, keep breathing. Keep squeezing, keep breathing. Keep squeezing and breathing as you lean forwards from your pelvis, finding the length through your spine. Keep breathing, keep squeezing. And then framing the left foot and send your left foot back into your downward dog. We're going to walk or jump your feet forwards towards your hands, lifting your head and your chest. And we tuck the head into the legs. Rolling up into standing. And we lower your arms down. Okay, so I want to show you the next movement. If you can't see the screen very well, feel free to come closer to your screen for the next minute whilst I show you, and then have a go. If you don't have wall, you could use door, you can use a sofa, you can use kitchen counter, windowsill, whatever is nearby for you. Look, if you've done this first bit before, downward dog by the wall, your AS bones, these hip bones here, hands are in line with the hip bones as you step back into a downward dog type shape. So we're going to play around here just for a few breaths. Once we've done that, we're going to come into a warrior one type shape. You need your book again. You're going to put the book by the wall. You're going to step onto the book with your foot. And you can play around with your stance of your back foot here. Some people are going to want it short and narrow. Some people are going to want it longer. If it's no good for your knee, you can be on the ball with your foot. So lots of options with the back foot. I'll shuffle a bit more into view here. We're going to have the fingers on the wall to float your head over your pelvis. We're going to squeeze your block, your imaginary block. We're going to squeeze your block behind. And we'll come through downward dog. We'll do the same thing again on the other side. So we'll play around with that. Grab yourself a bit of wall or counter or whatever it is you're going to use. And take your hands to hip height. So the bony bits of your pelvis. And then you want to step your feet back into the center of your room away from the wall. And you're looking for a downward dog type shape. So Helen, if you want, Helen Brown, if you want to be on fists here, rather than, if you want to be on fists, don't feel like you have to do this with flat palms. And you want to send your bum more into the center of the room and reach the crown of your head forwards. So find that length from the crown of your head towards the counter that you're reaching it to. And you can play around with the tuck and the lift of the chin that we did initially on the floor, and then find somewhere that feels like it's the midpoint between tucking and lifting. And that's going to be your axial extension, your straight line from the crown of your head to your pelvis. Okay, we're going to walk your feet forwards towards the wall. We're going to place your foot on the block or the book near the wall. Right foot on the block of the book. We're going to step your left foot back so that it's in a kind of warrior one type stance, with your pelvis facing towards the wall. So have your feet wide enough apart that they're kind of like tram lines. Just have your fingers on the wall to begin so that you can really stack your head over your pelvis. Right knee bent, left leg straight. If you need to be on the ball of that back left foot to help the left knee, go ahead and do that. And then we're going to reach your hands up over your head, squeeze your imaginary block over your head. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep breathing, keep squeezing. And then reach the hands behind, lower your arms forwards and down and reach the arms behind. And keep squeezing with the hands, the imaginary block. Keep breathing, keep squeezing. Great, then we'll reach your hands forwards once more towards the wall. We step the right foot off the block. We're going to step that right foot into your downward dog. So we take both hands back to the wall, send your bum into the center of the room. Find that length. We're aiming to stack pelvis over your feet and to have your hands, head and shoulders and bum kind of in a roughly straight line. We're going to walk your feet forwards. We step the left foot onto the block. We step the right foot behind. We're going to bend your left knee over your ankle. Lots of options for your stance. You can have feet wider. You can have the right foot quite far back or quite narrow. You can have the right foot flat on the floor or just be resting on the ball of the right foot. And then we reach your hands up over your head stacked over your pelvis. Squeeze the imaginary block. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep breathing, keep squeezing, reaching your arms forwards and down and behind you so that you're squeezing the imaginary block behind. Find the spaciousness through the front of your chest, your collarbone area. Keep breathing. And then stepping, you can reach your hands forwards, stepping the feet more in line and then taking both feet back into that downward dog shape. Hips reaching into the center of the room. Then move your feet. We're going to walk your feet in towards the wall. You come back up into standing. You get to have another look at me. Final little wall bit here. You can do this into the center of the room. If you have no skirting board or wall to put your heels against, you can do this in the center of the room. But we're going to come into a downward dog with the balls of your feet on the floor as much as is available to your toes, and your heels upon the wall, and you're reaching bum up high, and you're finding this length again through the crown of the head. You can tuck the chin, you can lift the chin, and then find somewhere in between. We're going to step the foot forwards. We're going to do the lift and squeeze. We're going to do the reach and squeeze. We'll come back through downward dog to do the same movement on the other side. So, if you need to move your mat to your wall, go ahead and do that. You are going to tuck, I'll just give you a moment to go over by the wall for those of you that have got a big wall. Coming into downward dog with your heels against the skirting board or whatever you're resting your heels against, and the balls of your feet on the floor. So it's quite strong for your feet. Toes tucked, heels on the wall, hands flat on the floor like a downward dog shape. Send your hips high to the ceiling towards the wall behind you. Find that length through the crown of your head. We're going to swing the right foot forwards towards your hands. High lunge once more, reaching your hands forwards and up over your head. Squeeze that imaginary block. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep breathing, keep squeezing. Reach the arms forwards and down and behind. Find the spaciousness at the front of the chest once more. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then folding forwards, framing the right foot with the hands. Send the right foot back into your downward dog by your wall or your sofa or whatever you're resting your heels against. Reaching the left foot forwards towards the hands. Pushing through your high lunge up into standing. Reaching the hands over your head. Bend the right knee if you need to here. Squeeze the block. Find something steady to look at on the wall or the floor. Keep breathing, keep squeezing. Reaching your arms forwards and down and taking the arms behind. Keep squeezing, keep reaching. Great, and then leaning forwards and framing the left foot and send your left foot back into your downward dog by the wall. Walking your feet forwards and rolling up into standing. Nice. Okay, so we come into Warrior Three pose we've been working towards. And this evening I want to do an arms back version. So I'm going to lean the weight into the tripod of my foot. I'm going to reach the arms behind, I'm going to keep the hips square, I'm going to reach the crown of the head long. I'm finding the spaciousness here. And if I really want to challenge my stability, I'm going to bend and straighten the standing leg. You don't have to, that's optional. If you feel like your balance isn't great tonight, do the same thing by the wall, go back to the wall. And instead of arms by the sides, you can just have your hands on the sofa or the wall. So feel free to use the wall if you'd rather. If you're happy at having a go in the center of the room, take your arms down by your sides, anchor into your right standing foot, just pushing through the center of your heel, ball of your foot, big toe and little toe edge, reaching crown of the head forwards, reaching the left leg behind, squaring the hips to the floor. If you would rather have the arms in a different position, go for it. Otherwise, we've got the arms reaching behind as we bend and straighten the right leg. Maybe 3 to 5 times. Notice the wobble. Lifting up into standing. Give yourself a shake if you need it. We have a go on the other side. So anchor through your left foot. Really find that steady support. We did a lot of balancing the past couple of weeks. So if you were here, remembering all of that sense of the tripod of the left foot as you lean forwards with the crown of the head, reaching the arms behind, reaching right leg behind. Maybe bending and straightening that left knee, maybe not. Amy, you might find if you don't have your video on, your connection is better. You should still be able to see me, but I just won't be able to see you. So if you press stop video, sometimes that helps if your internet is a bit dodgy. Okay, we're gonna straighten the leg, we're gonna step the right foot down, give ourselves a good shake. We're gonna come into a final downward dog, and this time, let go of all of the work that we've done, and instead just really explore, really play, see if you can find some spaciousness in your shoulders, in the neck, in your head, and we'll roll down, but really see if you can find some ease and comfort. Maybe you need really bent knees here, maybe you need to give your head a really lovely shake to find the position that works for you. But I'm hoping that your shoulders are going to feel great, and so maybe the pose feels a little easier than it normally would. If you're already there, feel free to stay there. If you're not, just rolling down, tucking the chin, bending the knees, patting your hands forwards. Have an explore, have a play. If your shoulders have had enough, have a rest. The choice is yours. Can you find some freedom in your shoulders, in your head, in your neck? We're going to lower your knees down onto the floor. You can either come through a squat to sitting, or you can just come with the legs out to the side into sitting. We're just going to take, we normally finish this way, so really feel free to go off on your own with these next couple of poses, because I know that most of you are very familiar with them. So we're just going to take a couple of rolling bridge poses. I'm going to recommend this rainbow arc of the arms. Once we've done that a few times, maybe coming into a classic lying down twist, or if you really enjoyed this hands behind the head version we did earlier, you could even do a rolling side to side twist. I'll talk you through the options but just so that you see them before you have a go. So a couple of bridge poses, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, really pushing through your feet, having enough space if your sofa or anything is behind you, maybe shuffling yourself to face the other way around. Really push your feet into the floor, send the knees away from you, finding that spaciousness through the chest, the shoulders as you roll up and down. The next time you come down, maybe taking a classic lying down twist with the arms out to the sides and the knees over to the right and looking to the left, and then lifting your knees to the ceiling and rolling your knees over to the left as you look to the right. And if you want to turn that into the twist that we did at the beginning of the class, feel free to do that. And if you're with a neighbour and maybe there isn't the space to do that, then feel free to stick with the classic one. If you're not sure, if you don't really remember it, you've got hands behind your head and you've got both knees sticking together to begin. And as you open, for example, left elbow up to the ceiling, you start to lift your left knee up to the ceiling. You roll all the way onto your left-hand side, the right elbow and the right knee follow so that you end up on your right-hand side. You open, lift and twist the other way. Let your head be heavy. Let your arms be heavy. The head and neck just roll along for the ride. Once you've taken an equal amount of movements on both sides, we're ready for our Shavasana or relaxation. So if you have socks or jumpers, feel free to put those on at this point. If you've got a big light turned on, you might like to turn your light off. If you've got cushions and blankets nearby, use those for padding and warmth. We started a few minutes late today, so I'm just going to run over by a few minutes. If you need to leave, of course, you can just leave the meeting at any point. So take your time settling yourself into the floor and the props beneath you. If you need a cushion under your head or under your legs, go ahead and use that. If you want extra layers of clothes and blankets to keep you warm, wriggling, shuffling. You've worked so hard over the past 55 minutes. Can you find some luxury in resting? So is it possible to be really particular about how you settle yourself into the ground? I'm going to recommend that you don't just kind of fall into the first position you find yourself in, but maybe you bend your knees, maybe you lie on your side or your front. Maybe you grab extra props so that you can make yourself comfortable. And if you're lying on your side, it can be really nice to have a cushion under your head or even a cushion in between your knees. Once you've got that settled, comfortable position, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, checking that you're not clenching your jaw. Taking a slight gap between your teeth, your tongue lying heavy on the base of your mouth. Taking your awareness into your body, noticing how your body feels at the end of the class this evening. Paying particular attention to your head and neck. And if you find that useful at the beginning of the class to turn your head side to side or tuck and lift the chin so that you can find a comfortable position to rest your head in, feel free to make any little adjustments so that the really heavy head can relax down into the ground and your neck doesn't need to effort. it can just lengthen and relax. Can you find some broadness, some spaciousness in your shoulders? Can you find some spaciousness for your breath? Easy, comfortable breathing. Noticing if it's possible to breathe through your nose. And if you prefer breathing through your mouth today, of course, go ahead and do that instead. Either way, finding that expansion of your lungs and rib cage with your inhale. Watching your ribs knitting into the center of your body as you exhale. Keeping this easy, steady breathing, I want you to think about how you can create more spaciousness in your life. So there's a lot of things we have no control over at the moment. But some things we do have choices about. Maybe you don't feel like you need any more space. Maybe you feel like you have too much space at the minute. That's okay, everybody's situation and circumstance is different. But if you feel like work is a bit too busy, a bit too stressful, or family situations are not ideal right now, or any other things that just feel like they're taking over a little, maybe you can take these little mini breaks of spaciousness in your day over the coming week. Just taking a few moments to watch your breath. Maybe taking a few moments to do some shoulder rolls or little movements with your neck. Maybe if you're working at a desk for a long time in the day, maybe just taking some little mini breaks between meetings or emails where you can really check in with yourself, with your breath, with your neck and shoulders. So just find a little bit of space. Space to connect with yourself, your body, and your breath. So if you have a Sankalpa or a positive resolve, you can repeat that silently to yourself 3 times. And if you don't have one, perhaps for today, you might say to yourself silently 3 times, I am spacious. Completing your positive resolve, you become aware of the relaxation coming to a close. You're aware of where you are in this room, in this place, enjoying this last few moments of darkness behind your closed eyes, if your eyes are closed. Maybe moving your tongue around inside of your mouth, noticing any tastes in your mouth, any smells around you, noises inside or outside of the room that maybe you weren't aware of before. The touch of your clothes and blankets against your skin, so you start to wriggle your fingers and toes, waking yourself up. Making any movements that feel good for you, listening to your body, moving your body in any way it wants to move. Perhaps bending your knees into your chest and giving yourself a rock from side to side, or keep going if you're happy moving in the way that your body wants to move. And when you're ready, you're in no hurry, rolling over onto your side and lifting into sitting. I'm going to end the class there. Thank you for joining me this evening.